Because I think I forgot to do this last time at the start of the video, I want to go ahead and thank my Patreons. Thank you guys, you're awesome. All right, welcome back to the channel. We're going to do another Fusion 2 tutorial. This is on handling lobbies, not only entering rooms, but leaving rooms. And I apologize in advance for any background noise. If I had to make sure I had no background noise, I would never record any videos. So I'm not going to follow up with the last demo I did because I made a bunch of changes and I attempted this video before and everything got overwritten and it's all messed up. So we're just gonna start from scratch because we're not really worried about gameplay. We're just kind of worried about how we manage a lobby, how we enter a room, and how we leave a room. So I created a new folder in my project called Lobby Demo, and we're just gonna go ahead and create a new scene. So we're gonna have our main menu scene, and then we're going to have our lobby scene. And then we're going to have our play scene, which we call that. Let's like game scene, I guess. And let's go into the main menu one. And let's just create some simple UI here. All right, so here's our basic lobby. You hit play, or basic main menu, hit play, boom, the button takes us to the lobby. How does it do that? I just have a little script on the button that does that. So let's now go to our lobby scene. It's empty right now, so let's fill it with some stuff. There, beautiful lobby. It's got nothing in it but a header. Let's go ahead and start working on some of our logic. So I'm not going to use all the prototype stuff. We're just going to do our own. So let's create our own network manager. And I'm just going to create a network manager script. All right, I think it's done compiling. I'm going to drag that over here and double click it to edit it. Let's delete these goodies. And let's say that we're using Fusion. And it's a mono behavior, but we also want the interface iNetwork, this one, iNetwork runner callbacks. So it's mad, so I'm gonna hover over it and Alt Enter and tell it to implement the interface. So the first thing, oh Jesus, the first thing I'm gonna do is all of these not implement exception things I'm gonna get rid of. All right, let's start setting this thing up. So we probably need let's do a public static network runner. And we're gonna call it runner instance. Okay. And then on private void awake, if runner instance is null, then let's add component network runner. Then we're going to say runner instance equals, where's that added component? I don't want that. Add component. Maybe we have to say game object. No. Game object. There it is. .add component network runner. Maybe we even do this. Runner instance equals game object dot get component network runner. And then if runner instance is null, we add it. Cool. All right. So once that's added, then in start, we want to actually join a lobby. Maybe we connect a server first. Maybe that's what we do first. So we're going to do runner instance dot, and I don't remember any of the stuff off the top of my head. I always use IntelliSense here. I think we can just go straight to joining the session lobby. I don't know that we actually have to. Oh, I need a lobby name. So I guess just for fun, let's do public string lobby name. And I guess we can go ahead and give it just a default text here. So now we can join session lobby. Lobby name, I think, is enough, or no? It wants session lobby, session lobby. All right, I just had a quick look at the documentation, and the first parameter is the lobby type. So we're going to say session lobby, and then I always use shared mode because that's all I know. And then we can say what the lobby name is, like so. All right, and just to make sure that it's connecting, so now we need to find connected to lobby. Let's find that callback. Oh no, we want on session list updated. Session list updated. That's the terminology we needed. So then let's just debug.log session list updated. And we can make sure that this logic works. All right, so here we are in Unity. There's our network manager. Let's see if our logic works. Let's just hit play. There, it's created the network runner. And let's check our console. Session list updated. Great, we're almost there. All right, so we need to prepare a way to display our lobby. So here in our panel, we're going to create a scroll view. And scroll views are admittedly annoying, but let's go ahead and stretch it all the way. And I don't know, my height is going to be like that. I changed my mind. We're not going to stretch it. We're going to center it. And let's divide that by 2. And I don't know, let's move it down. And I'm not going to use a horizontal scroll bar. And I can delete it from over here. Then we got to go to our content. And we want to add a content size fitter. And I'm going to set it to min size. I think that's how it works with scrolls. I don't know why a content size fitter is not added automatically. But if I remember right, you need that for scroll views. And we also want a vertical layout group. Or maybe the content size fitter is required because of the vertical layout group. I don't remember. All right, so now we're going to just build a little UI piece. I don't think I'm going to put that on recording because this shouldn't be a UI recording. So let's stop doing all that. All right, so here we've created a little session list entry that's going to be a prefab. And it's got this script I wrote called session list entry. And all it does is it's just got these 3 public references, the room name, the player count, the join button. And then when the join button is clicked, it'll call join room. And it's just going to get the room name .text, and it's going to access the runner, tell it to start game with only these start game arguments, because that's all you need if you're joining a session. And real quick, while I'm thinking about it, let's go to that join button, and let's go ahead and tell it what to do when it's clicked. And we're going to go here, session list entry, join room. And in the lobby demo, let's go ahead and create a folder for prefabs. And do that like so. Boom. All right, let's look at our network manager. There's not a whole lot going on here. Let's just open it up. And we need to have a public game object. This is going to be the session list entry prefab. And we're also going to want a list of those prefabs. Probably a list of those game objects. So I don't know if I want to reference the script or if I want to reference the game object. I think I'm going to reference the script. So then we're going to have a, really doesn't need to be public, but I'm going to keep them public. And it's going to be a list of session list entry. And it's just going to be like that. Got 11 IntelliSense just filling it out for us. And if I hit Control, then M, then O, it collapses all of these. And I can go down to on session list updated. And I'm just going to cut this, and I'm just going to bring it near the top so that I don't have to scroll down and find it every time. So, what we are going to do is for each session info session in session list. Maybe I'll tell you what we're going to do first. So what we're going to do first is we want to iterate through the session list. Then we're going to check our session list entry list to see if we already have an entry object for that session. If we do, update the values for it if necessary. If we don't, create one. Then check our session list. Check our, I guess I could session list entry to see if there are any sessions that are no longer in session list. If they aren't, delete them. Okay, so that's basically what we're going to do all in this one method here. So let's first iterate through the session list. So for each session info in session list, actually, maybe we'll do this last one first. So let's actually iterate through for each session list entry in session list. Oh, conflicts. Entry list. There we go. Session list, entry list. So for each session list entry in the session list entry list, oh boy, we're going to, nope, we're not doing that. We're not doing a list. We're going to do a dictionary. So how do I do a dictionary? Is it dictionary? The key is going to be a string. The value is going to be a session list entry. No, the value is going to be a game object. And we're going to call this our session list UI dictionary. That. Okay. So, how do I iterate through a dictionary? So it should be something like for each key value pair in not session list, but session list UI dictionary. Right. Shift enter. What, the name session list UI dictionary, isn't it this? Yeah, shift enter. Okay, parentheses, shift enter. All right. So for each key value pair in session list UI dictionary, for each, because now we're going to iterate through the session list. So for each session info, session in session list, if session dot name, look at that IntelliSense, if the session's name equals KVP key whatever, then we need a bool on session list updated. You know what? Let's break this up into different methods. So let's go delete old sessions from UI. Okay, so we're going to create this method and we'll just put it below this. So private void delete old sessions from UI. And we're in take a parameter list type session info. And we'll call it session list. Shift enter. We'll put session list in here. All right, so let's have a couple local variables here. So let's have a bool is contained equals false. And let's have a game object called UI to delete. And we'll make that equal null. Now what we will do is We're going to iterate through the dictionary. So for each key value pair, string game object KVP in, it's not called session list. It's called this guy. Come on, IntelliSense. Look up there and see there's only one dictionary. So for each one of these, just to make this a bit easier to follow, let's put string session key equals kvp.key. And then what we're going to do is for each session info in session list, if session info dot name is equal to our session key, then is contained equals true. And we can stop iterating, so we will then break. All right, but if we've gone through this entire loop and it's not found, so if it's not is contained, then we're going to want to remove it from the dictionary. But first we need to know what it is. So UI to delete is equal to the key value pair dot value. Man, IntelliSense makes this so much easier. And then we're going to remove that from the dictionary. So do we say session list UI dictionary? Did I really misspell it that bad? Oh my goodness. How come no one told me? F2 that, come in here, type an I, hit enter, and it should all be replaced. So can we say remove? And we're going to do UI to delete. Right or no? No. We have to put the key in here. We're going to remove session key. Yeah, so at that dictionary value, we're going to remove what's there. And then now we can say UI to delete dot, we got to destroy UI to delete. Boom. So what we've done here is, before we've even created anything, we're just going through and making sure that because we have a dictionary that's going to house all of our UI elements that we create for our lobby. And to reference those, we're going to use the session name. So that's going to be the key that we use to find those UI elements. And it's going to be the session names. So when we get the new session list, whenever the session list is updated, when we get the new session list, we're going to iterate through that list and find the names of all the active sessions. And then we're going to compare each of our keys from our dictionary to see if we have any keys that represent sessions that are no longer active. And if we do have session keys representing sessions that are no longer active, we're going to remove those keys and then destroy the UI elements that are on our lobby panel. All right, so I think this is done. Sorry, it's the next day now, me recording this. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to delete the old sessions from the UI. So that's this comment here. All right, so now we need to iterate through the list, right? And yeah. All right, so this logic here I actually made when I first tried to do this tutorial last week, but all my audio got messed up. And so I'm just going to yank it, and we're just going to talk about it. So over here, I'm just going to paste it in. And so after we delete the old sessions from the UI, we're going to compare lists. And we got to put the session list in here as well. And so let's just talk about what we're going to do here. So in this compare list, we're plugging in the session list. And so for each session that's in the session list, if the dictionary, which let's get our dictionary reference, contains the key of that session name, then we're going to update the entry UI. Otherwise, we're going to create the entry UI. Okay, and so we're just separating these into two separate methods just to kind of clean this up a little bit. So let's handle the creating of the entry UI first, because that's going to be the easiest. And we do have a session list entry prefab, but we probably also need the transform that it's going to go on, like its parent. So let's do public transform And we'll call this session list content parent. I know it's a long name, but it'll make it very clear what we're doing with it. And so we're going to game object new entry equals game object dot instantiate session list entry prefab, right? Full disclosure, my brain's not working great because I scratched my eye earlier this week and it's still healing, and right now it's feeling very swollen and annoying. So I'm like squinting and rubbing my eye while I'm doing this. All right, so we're creating this new entry, and then we're going to say new entry dot transform dot parent equals, what do we call that? Session list content parent. Right. Then, and now we need to get a reference to its session list entry script. I'm just gonna call it entry script equals that thing. Yeah, good job, IntelliSense. And then we need to add that to our dictionary. So since we need the session info, we need to plug it in here. So we're gonna need session info session, and we're gonna pass session in here. And then what we're gonna do is we're going to add to the dictionary. So let's grab the reference to our dictionary, put this here. Whoa, that's not what I wanted. Undo that. I just want the dictionary reference. And then dot add. And yeah, session dot name new entry. Look how smart IntelliSense is. You don't even need to think anymore when you do this stuff. So we've added to the dictionary, but now we need to actually update our session list. I can't talk. Our session list entry values here. So we're now going to do new entry dot what am I looking for? I'm looking for, wait, new entry is the game object. We want the entry script. Entry script dot, why does it keep scrolling halfway down here? That's weird. Okay, entry script dot room name dot text equals session dot name. Then entry script dot player count dot text equals session dot player count dot toString plus a slash plus session dot max players dot toString, like so. So to be clear, what we're doing is we are on the prefab. Can I find it? Let's see. Lobby demo, prefab, session list entry. So what we're doing is we're putting in the room name and we're setting up the player count. Next thing we're going to do is set if the join button should be interactable or not. So if we come over here and we do entry script dot join button dot interactable equals session dot is open. So that should be good there. And before we even do that, we should do, I was going to add logic here to not create the entry if the room isn't open, but I think we'll still create it because the room could get open, could get closed. So I still want the UI element created. But what we'll do here is we'll now do new entry dot set active session dot is open. So if the session is open, it'll be active. If it's not open, not is open, is visible. Is visible. And if it's not supposed to be visible, like it's a private room, then it'll deactivate it so it's hidden from the UI. All right, so now let's do the update entry UI. And pretty much we're going to do all this same stuff here. So I'm just going to copy all that and paste it. We also want session info session here. And we're going to put the session in here. And so then what we'll do is we're not creating a new entry. So I think I'll just go ahead and keep the variable. It's probably a bad habit, but I might just go ahead and keep the variable named new entry, but we're going to get it by getting it from the dictionary. So session list dictionary UI. How did I get it over here? So hold on. What if it's like this? What if it's try? What if it's session list UI dictionary dot try get value, and the value is going to be oh no, we don't need this. We can go oink. And so this is going to be session.name for the key, and then we're going to output the value as game object new entry. Even though it's not new entry, I just don't feel like rewriting all of it. Right? What am I missing here? Do I have to add the word out in front of it? I don't use dictionaries a whole lot. Yeah, okay, great. All right, so we shouldn't need to reparent it. And we're not adding this component to it. And it's already in the dictionary. So we need to get the entry script. So session list entry script equals get equals new entry dot get component session list entry. So now we have the entry script, and it's going to update the room name, the text, make it interactable, the button, and then activate or deactivate it based on if it's visible or invisible. Then we might be about wrapped up there. Because we're creating it, we are updating it, and we're deleting it. So I think we're probably good on that part of the tutorial. But if we hit play, I mean, do we even know anything works? Because there's no active sessions. So what are we going to do about that? Well, what we could do is we can come over here and we can go if this is not something you'd probably want to set up a button. I guess we'll set up a button. Let's set up a button. I was just going to have it auto create a room if the room list was empty. But I guess we'll make a button. All right. So here's my panel. And let's just create a button. We don't need to show this on recording. There we go. We got to create session button. So now we need to write some logic to create a session. And I'm going to hide everything by hitting control, holding control, then tapping M, then tapping O. Everything's collapsed now. And let's do public void create random session, because that's what we're going to be doing. And so that's pretty straightforward, right? So we're just going to get the can I just do runner instance? I can do that, right? Runner instance dot start game, and then new start game args. And how does that work? I'm just going to come over to my session list entry thing, and I'm just going to copy that little bit of logic. And we'll put this here so I don't have to do any thinking. And we don't need that little bit. All right, so we're just going to start game, new start game arguments, and game mode. Is it mode? Okay, game mode equals game mode shared. And do I need a comma? I don't think I need a comma if it's by itself, do I? Nope, I do. Boom. But since we're creating a random session, let's go ahead and still make a name that's going to look okay in our UI. So we need a random int. So int random int equals random dot range 1000 to 9999. And I'm missing a bit. We're going to use system.random. Is it as simple as doing... if I'm looking at the documentation here, just a new int. So if I do new int random dot range 1000 through 999. Why isn't it not like that? Oh, I was right originally, but I shouldn't have used system. I should have used Unity. So this should just be random dot range 1000 to 9999. And it's going to say ambiguous, but I need to choose Unity Engine dot random. There it is. Cool. And so now I want a string random session name equals room. Is that how I want to do that? No, let's do that. And then plus random int dot toString. All right, so that will create a session name for us. And then we can just add name. There we go. Session name equals random session name. And I think that's all we have to have. Now, we could also input if it was going to be visible or open and all that. But since we're just creating a random room, we're not going to give that. It's basically like quick start. And that should be all that we need to create a session. All right, now we probably should do something once we've joined a session, and there's probably a callback here somewhere. Oh yeah, on player joined. Okay, so we're looking for on player joined. Let's just go ahead and move this up to here. Actually, yeah, we'll put it here. All right, so on player joined, we want to do something. Now, keep in mind, this onPlayerJoined method or callback happens anytime a new player has joined. So it can be you, it can be anybody else. So it can be the local player, it can be anybody else. So we want to make sure that this logic I'm setting up right now is only for the local player. So if player equals runner instance dot local player, shift enter. Now I want to do stuff for the local player. So on player joined, we want to do that. And we're going to load our game scene. And just for ease of use, let's come up here and I'm going to steal this load scene script. And we're just going to do that guy. Go over here. Where'd we go? Oh, that's right. I'm up here. So we need a reference to the scene, and we're going to call this play scene, or we'll call this gameplay scene. And then we're just going to load it. Okay. Gameplay scene. So now if we come back over here to Unity, oh, we got a lot of stuff we got to set up. So we need our session list content parent. So scroll view content, right? And we need our session list entry prefab. Whoops, network manager. So let's put our session list entry prefab in, and then our gameplay scene, which is there. Okay. So from here, we can hit play. And we probably need to set up something that says we're connected. Because we don't want to try creating a session. And why can't I hover? There we go. Okay, so we're just going to create a session. And we did not hook that logic up. On the create session button, on click, we're going to do something on the network manager, and it's going to be, what do I call it? Create random session. All right, let's play. Seriously, make sure that like this is disabled until you know that you're fully connected, and we can just look in the inspector. But lobby is valid. Okay, so let's go ahead and create our session. All right, game scene couldn't be loaded because not been added to the build settings. Oh, boo. So file, build settings, main menu. Is that even the right main menu? Let's make sure it's the right main menu. Okay, it is. And then game scene. All right. Save, play again. And we're in the lobby. Create session. Huzzah. All right, so we are there. But it looked like our network manager automatically made itself not get destroyed. I didn't think it did that by default. So let's see. Create session. Yeah, look at that. Our network manager automatically made itself don't destroy on load. Okay, cool. And that's fine. And our network manager's still here. So now what we need is we need a player prefab to be instantiated. So what's that going to look like? So just for fun, let's go to our game scene. Here it is. It is beautiful. But let's just go ahead and make our camera solid color. And we're going to create a 3D object cube. And let's reset it. And we'll keep the camera there. And let's just rotate this cube just a wee bit. And this is going to be our player. And so we're just going to add a network object. So let's save the scene. In your player object, you don't want to allow state authority override. Interesting, by default, it now destroys it when authority leaves. That is new with Fusion 2. I bet if I check this, it gives me the option to uncheck it. So that's pretty cool. All right. Ooh, and this is new too, is master client object. I like that. Okay, cool. So that's there. So I should now be able to, I almost deleted that. That would have been dumb. All right, so let's drag that in there. And let's delete that. And let's save. And let's go to the main menu. No, let's go to the lobby. And let's go to our network manager. And let's create a prefab. Public game object. Actually, it needs to be a network object. Oh, did they change that in Fusion 2, though? I think they changed that in Fusion 1 to instantiate like the player prefab. It had to be a network object, but now I think they've changed it to game object. So public game object, player prefab. And so now we're going to game object dot player object equals runner. You know what? I didn't even need to do runner instance because this callback already has the runner. So I could just do that. Just do runner dot spawn. And we're going to spawn the player object. And we have a lot of optionals. I'm pointing at my screen. But we have a lot of optionals that we can put in here. So we're going to do vector 3.0. And then we'll go, because that's just going to put it 0 out the object. And then we're going to, oh, this is not, this needs to be player prefab. Player prefab. And then we'll change the quaternion rotation to quaternion identity, which should just zero out the rotations. Oh, but we don't want to zero out the rotations. Let's just see if it just spawns in slightly rotated anyways. And there's a way to also say this is a player object. How do I do that? I'll have to look in and see what network spawn flags are. But can I just do that? What do you need now to be happy? Not convert type Fusion network object to Unity engine game object. Okay, so this is going to spawn it. So let's just say, fine, we'll say it's a network object then. And then we'll say it's a player network object. And then we're going to say runner dot local player dot. How do we do that? Local player. Set player object. Okay. Set player object of player to be the player network object. Okay. Boy, I'm low energy. Sorry, guys. So in theory, from here, after we're connected to the lobby, if we create a session, we should be... What can't be null? What can't be null? I think our issue is we're trying to spawn it before the scene has finished loading. Also, loading the scene, we could do a better job of that. So let's not load the scene here. Let's come up here and say that the scene is equal to... Can I just say gameplay scene? I doubt it. Comma. What's it going to say? Cannot complicitly convert type scene asset to Fusion network scene info. What if I do gameplay scene dot name? Cannot convert string. I gotta go figure out how to do this. Okay, I think this will work. I just had to do a bunch of slow typing with IntelliSense. So I used the documentation to find that you can use this scene ref from index, but then I wanted to get the index from this scene reference, because I kind of like, I've never done this before, I just kind of like the idea of dragging the scene reference into the inspector. So this should work. It gets the scene name, and then it uses, it uses the scene manager to get the Unity scene reference from the name from the scene reference. Then it gets the build index from the Unity scene reference, so it can create a Fusion scene reference. Yeah, that's ridiculous. So that just works. So I'm pretty sure it's not ready yet. I did save, right? Yeah. Oh, no, I didn't. Save? Oh, did we not put the player prefab? I love saying we when it's all me. Was the whole issue just that I never put the player prefab reference in? Oh well. All right, I'm just going to save that. And let's just see what happens if we hit play. And lobby's true. Create the session. Oh, boy. Specified argument was out of range. It did not like that scene reference. All right, so the reason this doesn't work, and as you can see, I added a bunch of lines, trying a bunch of different things, separating up, but the scene manager only houses active scenes. This doesn't get scenes that are in your build list. This gets only scenes that are currently loaded. That's what the scene manager is. So, granted, to do something, either I need to abandon this whole scene asset method, or use an int to represent the and use an int to represent the scene. But I'm not doing that. I am going to create a method that's going to iterate through the build index, all the scenes in the build, and get the index of the one with the name. which is what this is going to do. So you give this method a scene name, and it's going to return the build index for it. So in theory, I should be able to take, I think, all that out. And then here we can do get scene index. And then we're going to do gameplay scene.name here. And then we need another parentheses. And in theory, this should work. Doesn't necessarily mean you should do it. I've never done something like this before, but I really like the idea of being able to drag the scene right into the inspector. I like that. That's handy. Because then no matter what, if the order changes in the builds index, you're good. But that's why some people say, well, then just use the scene name. But I like this. I like this because now, no matter where I am, I can always just click on this and it'll take me straight to the scene in the assets folder if I want to open it up and edit it and all that jazz. But let's see if this works. All right, I am connected. Let's try it. Huzzah, it did it. Great. So it's opened up the game scene and it spawned our player. Whew, that was a lot. Just gets really with what most people have been asking me is, okay, Philip, I can do all this. I can spawn a player into a scene. But now what if I want to go back to the lobby? Then what do I do? So that's what we're going to do next. And I think what we're going to do is we're actually going to do it. Look at this. Boom. I wish when you click things in the inspector, it would automatically go to the project tab. But either way, I can just click the project tab. There it is. So I'm going to go to the game scene. And actually, I'm also going to just go to, you know what I want? I want my main menu. And I'm going to steal my canvas. And I'm going to steal my camera. And I'm going to steal my event system. And I'm going to remove this scene and not save it. Is this the right camera? That's a light. Oh, I already had them set up, I think. Yeah, I don't know what I was doing there. All right. So I got my canvas and I just want, I'm not going to use the header. And I'm just going to set up my UI here. And what I thought about doing was a main menu button. So just go back to the main menu, but let's just go ahead and just go directly back to the lobby. So that lobby button is not going to do anything just yet. I'm probably going to need to write a custom script the way I have this set up for just this lobby button. Or you know what? Even better. Nope, I'm just going to keep that like that for now. Let's come here to our network manager. I'm going to hold control, tap M, tap O, collapse everything down. And in this, I'm going to create a new method called public void. How do I want to do this? I suppose I'm just going to call this return to lobby. And what we're going to do is we're going to do runner instance dot shutdown. And I don't know what order is the best here. Maybe what would be best first is to, on the runner, go to despawn and choose runner instance dot player object, and then to runner instance dot local player. All right, so this is going to despawn our player object, which we probably don't need to do because it would probably do it automatically on shutdown. But I still think this is a good idea because this isn't the only thing you'd want to despawn necessarily. You might have had a lot of other objects you created. So you might want to have like a list of all the objects that you own. But again, they're probably going to get despawned when you leave anyways. But just keep that in mind. So once we've called that, then we're going to do runner instance dot shut down. And this has some things here. So the first parameter is, do you want to destroy the game object? And yes, we do. And the game object is the game object that the network runner is attached to. So the network runner is attached to the same game object as the network manager. And yeah, we do want to destroy it because we're going to return to the lobby scene where it's going to exist again. So shut down. And yes, we do want to destroy the game object it's on. The shutdown reason is okay because we're doing this on purpose. And I don't think we need to do the force shutdown procedure. So we're probably good there. And then another thing to look at would be to go down to on shutdown. So this callback gets called whenever you shut down the runner. And so maybe you just want it to, from this callback, go ahead and go back to the lobby, which I'm thinking of doing, but we could also come up here and like put up some logic for, I just had an idea. Not really an idea, but a thought that on shutdown, this game object is going to be destroyed. But will it get destroyed before or after running the logic in shutdown? I guess there's one way to find out. So let's just say on shutdown, we want to, does this have our, this doesn't have our lobby scene reference in it, but let's do that because I'm for some reason loving the scene asset variable type, lobby scene. Okay, so now on shutdown, which I guess since we're using this, we can bring it back up to the top. So right here on return to lobby. On shutdown, let's then say scene. How do we load the scene? Scene manager.load scene. Y'all are laughing at me. Scene manager.load scene. Why are we having a hard time here? What is going on? Scene manager doesn't exist. What? Scene manager.load scene. Oh, scene manager. Manager.load scene. Lobby scene. Name. All right, so I don't know if this will work actually, so let's find out. And because I can't really think of a better way to do this, we're going to, I need this button to call the method on the network manager, and I hate that I'm writing a script just to do that tiny thing. Also, we're in the game scene, we don't want this anymore. So I'm going to have to write a little script for this, which is kind of annoying. You know, out of laziness, I think I'm going to make this a static void. Will this still work? It looks like it will. And return to lobby, I can then do network manager dot return to lobby, like so. And why is this mad? Oh. Because it's the name of the class. There we go. Return to the lobby. This is horrible naming conventions. Don't do like that. Ah, there's my error I was looking for. Because pretty sure we have to say network runner dot. Nope, it's still mad. Does not contain a definition for runner instance? Oh, network manager. My bad. We'll just alt, click and drag, network manager. All right, save that. Let's see if that gets rid of my console error. And it did. Let's go to our button and return to lobby. That's happy. Save. Let's go back to our lobby scene. Let's look at our network manager. We need our lobby scene here. And there it is. Save. I don't have high hopes this is going to work, honestly. But let's hit play and see what happens. And there we are. We're connected. Create a session. All right, we're in here. That's our player object. There it is. It took a minute to update it, but there it's got a reference to our player object right there. And now let's go ahead and view our console. Let's try clicking the lobby button and see what happens. Lobby. Nothing. Nothing happened. Why? Why did nothing happen? Canvas, panel, button. What did I? What? Okay, I did not set up the logic for that. Weird. Oh, no, it's right here. Oh, I didn't. All right, what if I do this? Can I do it at runtime? Because I'm feeling a little lazy. Return to lobby. Return to the lobby. Click. Hey, hey, look at that. Okay, so now we've returned to the lobby, and I don't see any extra game objects. Our network manager is here, and so let's see if we can create another session. Hey, and now we can return to the lobby. Right? Did I click it too fast? Oh, no, because I didn't save the scene, so that stuff's not there. Let's go save the scene. Project, game scene, canvas, panel, button. Yes, I know I could have wrote a button on click in the script itself, but I just didn't want to. And let's start from the main menu, right? From lobby demo. So we hit play. Here we are in the main menu. We go to lobby. Huzzah, we're in the lobby, but we're still kind of connecting because I didn't set up any UI. Let's check the network manager. We are connected. Let's create a session. So we've created a session. We spawned our player. We see our player reference here, but now we're ready to leave. We want to go join a different room because there's a bunch of whiners in this one or something. So now we're back in the lobby. Huzzah. Now, I didn't actually show active rooms showing up, but my logic should work. But if not, let me know in the comments. Find me in Discord. I think this is enough for this video. It gives you the idea of how you can return to your lobby. You basically have to shut down your runner, make sure all your local objects are despawned correctly, which you might not have to do manually. You might just be able to call the shutdown and just make sure that all of your prefabs have the destroy when state authority leaves, which we could even try that real quick if we think that's a fun idea. We can go back to our network manager. We can comment out the despawn of that object and we hit save. So let's see how well that handles it. Lobby, we're in the lobby. Let's make sure our network manager is connected. Yes, so I can now create the session. We're now in the session. So now the idea is, even though I'm not any longer telling it to despawn my player, it will hopefully do that for us, and this player prefab will go away on shutdown. So I'm going to return to lobby, we shut down, and I mean, really, of course it will, because it's in a different scene. So we're leaving the scene, so it's going to get destroyed anyways. Because, yeah, so there you go. Easy enough. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. Like, comment, subscribe. Check out my links in the description for other ways you can support the channel, and we'll see you next time.